Well, ladies and gentlemen, we knew this was coming because this is all Biden is really good for. As you can see here, he is requesting $37 billion in the annual budget to go towards supporting the race soldiers and for crime prevention. Now, throwing money at the race soldiers or creating another crime bill is not going to solve the issue with crime. Crime is linked to economics. Just that simple. You don't believe me? Go to an area where the people are struggling financially. What you're going to see? Crime. Now go to an area where the people aren't struggling financially. What are you going to see? Less crime. Like, let's say middle class. Go to a community where people are the upper class. Are you going to see much crime there? Not really. Why? Because it's all tied to economics. Crime went through the roof because this is what happened. After the lockdowns happened and all of that, right? They gave all this stimulus money, did all the things they was doing. These people that when y'all said they had a rent moratorium and people didn't have to pay their rents, etc. Well, all those landlords now are throwing people on the streets. Okay. Jobs isn't what they should be. Pay isn't what it should be, etc. And instead of dealing with that, dealing with the inflation, dealing with the high gas prices, the food prices, everything is just so freaking high where people can't afford it. Light bills right now are skyrocketing because of, the heat, the record breaking heat that we're having. When people don't have money, people a lot of times resort to crime. Race soldiers do not stop crime. Show me where they just prevent all crimes. No matter what city they in, they prevent crimes. When have you seen race soldiers stop a mass shooting? Do you know the police don't even have a duty to protect you? That was ruled Castle versus Gonzalez back in 2005. The police do not have to protect you at all. That was ruled by the Supreme Court. So why are we throwing all this money at a police force that's hella racist, first and foremost, to our black people, don't have to legally protect us from anything? I mean, they work for the corporations. They work for the government. That's who they work for. They do not work for the people. But we know all Biden is good for is a crime bill. That's what he'll do. And you know good and well what I'm about to read is going to target black people. Well, you know that. They're not going to go get them white criminals. They're not going to get them white drug addicts that's out here using illegal drugs. No. They're going to go after black people because, Biden, remember, he's the reason we have had ushered in mass incarceration. It was him. And you black folk that ran out there and went vote for this guy. Oh, we just got to get Trump out. We got to get Trump out. Okay, you got him out. Now here we go. They said that his request will be part of the fiscal 2023 budget process, and Biden is set to announce it in remarks on Thursday in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. He said the trip will be focused on building on the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was the bipartisan gun bill he signed into law last month. I say senior administration officials said the timing of the announcement is a way for the president to stress that the work is not done on gun violence. He said he wanted to seize the moment in order to drive further. He said Biden's $37 billion request, which the White House has deemed as a Safer America plan, which would invest in $13 billion over 5 years to hire and train 100,000 additional police officers. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. He wants to throw $13 billion of your tax money to the race soldiers. If you do the research, the race soldiers get enough money. They get millions upon millions of dollars. Way more money than the citizens get. So programs for the citizens. How about you create a program to get people out of poverty to the middle class? Create that program. Why don't you create a program where you can get these people with skilled trades? Well, we can get people trained up in the medical profession. Any kind of profession that people will make some decent money, right? That they can buy a home and live. No, they're not going to do that. No, they just want to have more race soldiers running the streets. We know that they are the foot soldiers of white supremacy, and the majority of the police force is hella racist. We know this. And yet he wants to throw $13 billion of your tax dollars over 5 years to the race soldiers. But you had to get Trump out. They want to invest $3 billion to clear court backlogs and solve murders and establish a $15 billion grant program aimed at justice system reform. What does that even look like? If you're not going to do that on the federal level by codifying it in law, what do you mean a grant? What giving a grant is going to do to anybody? What the grant going to be? Oh, we make a police officers go have sensitivity training. That's justice system reform. Give us the money. Now, officials said that Biden chose to travel to Wilkes-Barre, which is near his hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania. They said because his remarks would be geared toward community safety. He's saying that you shouldn't have to be in your hometown and be living in fear of gun violence. So the president wanted to go and be able to talk about how home should mean safety. And in order to get that done, we need Congress to do more to reduce gun violence. Well, why don't you answer this question? And maybe it's a lot of you that voted for Biden to answer me this question. The majority of the violent crime that's happening in America right now, if you do the research, is in Democrat-run cities. That's a fact. L.A., Democrat. San Francisco, Democrat. Seattle, Washington, Democrat. I mean, they look like a zombie movie over there. Chicago, Illinois, Democrat. Houston, Texas, Democrat. I'm just naming names. Baltimore, Maryland, Democrat. I'm talking about who actually run the cities. I'm not saying the state, but I'm talking about the cities. New York City, Democrat. All these places we see crime spiking, it always lead back to them. They don't know how to solve crime. Like I say, it's an economic issue. It's not a crime issue. Some things you can do, like in California. The worst thing they did in California was say, well, you know, if you steal something underneath $1,000, you're not going to go to jail. That was the worst thing ever. They just stealing things every day, left and right. That was the craziest thing ever. You shouldn't be incentivizing stealing. Now, I said Biden is also expected to tout the $10 billion in funding from the coronavirus relief bill that has been committed to public safety and violence prevention, which was announced in May. He said at the time, Biden has called on mayors and local leaders to use funds from the American Rescue Plan, which he signed into law early last year, to bulk up police forces and safety programs ahead of the summer months. Now, why don't you use that coronavirus money to help the citizens? But see, they don't want to do that. See, you see that when they talk about, oh, well, defund the police. They never defunded the police. They never done that. They throwing all kind of money. But this is Biden toting another crime bill, ladies and gentlemen. He's just not saying 3 strikes and all that, 'cause they got enough on the books about that. But yeah, he's not trying to solve your problems, but he's trying to lock you up in jail. And the reason why I have issue with this is because we know they're not going to go after real criminals, which is the white supremacists. They're not going to go after the real criminals. They're going to target a brother jaywalking. They're going to target a brother riding down the street on his bike. That's who they're going to use that money for. They're going to target a black woman just driving down the street, you know, going from her house to her mama's house. They're not going to go target the real criminal. Notice that when they had these crime bills, Pookie and Ray Ray really never go to jail like that. Well, why does it, all these years I've been covering news stories, just think about this. I've never seen a story where the police shot Pookie and Ray Ray 60 times. I'm talking about a certified gang member 60 times. I mean, one is actually killing black folks in the community. Where do you see that at? Have you noticed that? How many traffic stops have they done on gang members, even in the black community? Or you can talk about Hispanic or in the group you want to talk about. How many times have you seen them gunned down? Notice they don't go target Pookie and Ray Ray. They go gun down and hurt and harm black folks who are not gang affiliated, black folks who don't, a lot of times don't even have a criminal record, or the black person may have some weed and it's called, weed. When that's very, very legal in a lot of places. Ooh, they got a gun in the car. I didn't know a gun was a death sentence. I thought we had a Second Amendment. Hell, the Supreme Court just said you can't be making people have a permit. You understand what I'm saying? All that's going to do is put more black people in danger. And this is what the Democrats and Biden is doing. They can't run their city, so they want the race soldiers to be more oppressive to black people. Thank you, Democrats. And thank you, black people who ran out there and say vote blue no matter who. Thank you. Thank you for that. And you will see what's about to happen. And when these race soldiers start gunning you down and beating you down and all of that, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't be talking about justice for this one and justice for that one and marching and all that. This is what you voted for. This is what you wanted right there. So when them race soldiers start acting a fool and they got a green light with all this money they about to get, you know, that's what you voted for. You also voted for all these other groups to get money and benefits while you get nothing. And some of you in the community is still silly, still trying to defend the Democrats, still trying to do it. You know you can't defend them, but yet you still trying. And this is why, as a collective of people, we say losing. Because we have a group of people, I'm going to say the majority, of people in our community, they just want to be treated just a little bit better on the plantation. They don't want to run anything. They don't want to control anything. They don't want to build anything. And then those people got the biggest mouths. They got the biggest mouth. They always got something to say about other black people, what they do with their money, what they do with this, what they do with that. Then you tell them, okay, what you doing? Well, what are you building? What are you doing? And they ain't got nothing to say. It's an excuse. It's crickets. Much as they want to invest their time and everything in this place, you think they'll be getting together with black people and building something. I was just driving today, going to the chiropractor and seeing all kind of land that's available. Why black people ain't buying all this free land? Not free, but why black people are not getting land and building something? You say you love black folks so much. Why aren't you buying all this unoccupied land, getting together doing that? They got so much land all over Texas that you can get. This state is huge, and they got a lot of unoccupied land. Black folks not getting together and buying a freaking thing. But you show up to go vote for Democrats. You just performative Negroes. The Asians don't even show up to vote like you do. And how, look, you see how they get ahead? How the Asians get ahead? They work together. They go buy land. They practice group economics like Dr. Claude Anderson told you to practice a long time ago. With Powernomics, black labor, white wealth. The brother told you a long time ago what we can do. And nothing has been done. That's why I'm a firm believer we don't need no more quote unquote charismatic leaders. We don't need nobody giving us all the game. For what? The game's already been given to you. We just saying this as a collective. What's happening, and some of you do complain about other groups, but what I pay attention to other groups at the same time is they have no problem practicing group economics. They have no problem doing it. They work with each other. We don't want to work with each other. I don't like you because of this reason. I don't like you because of that reason. I'm better than you. I'm this, I'm that. I don't like you because you're black American. I don't like you because you're an African. I don't like you because you're Caribbean. And it's all dumb. You think the Asian diaspora don't work together? Do you think they don't work together? Sure, they got their own Chinatowns and Koreatowns, and there's no problem with that. And we should have black American places, and they should have Somali and Ethiopian and Nigerian places. That's fine too. I'm cool with that. But when the group they feel under attack, they throw away all that Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese stuff, and they say we Asian. Understand? But black folks, we still fighting about identity. Even after 500 years, you're still fighting about freaking identity. We should be over that already. All of us got a freaking identity. We know what it is. Rock with it. We got an ethnic identity, which would be black American, Ethiopian, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Bahamian, whatever, somebody from the Caribbean. Then you got a racial identity, which is black. See, other groups understand the racial identity aspect, and they also understand the ethnicity aspect. You understand? Black folks have multiple ethnic groups, but racially we're black in this world. And the problem is black folks want to play the ethnic game when white supremacy in the world is playing the racial game. And that's why we stay losing. Ethnicity with this tribalism crap, because I'm sorry, the whole black world is tribal. including the diaspora. We're all tribal. But we don't know how to put that ethnic tribalism aside to say, hey, wait a minute. We need to racially codify because we're under attack. And then we want to get mad when other groups get ahead of us, of course, with the assistance of the U.S. government now. But we fight each other so much we can't even pay attention to how other groups are being pushed up ahead of us. We just complain about it when we see it. But at the same time, we're assisting our own sabotage by voting for this freaking Democrat Party, who's once again trying to put another basically low rate crime bill together. And you know it's going to target black folk. Ain't no crime bill they ever put down targeted white folk. Because let's call it what it is. They got a freaking method epidemic in the white community, killing them off. They laid out on the street. And they ain't putting no freaking crime bill together to go get them like they did black folks with the crack epidemic. They're not going to criminalize their own people. When you hear them talking about crime, that's a code word to go get black people. They're not going to ever put in mass incarcerate their own. They're never going to do it. See, the thing is, I said before, not only we don't work together, but we assist white supremacy in sabotaging our own progress politically. When are we going to wake up to that? When? Because like I said, I'm tired. I'm tired of a lot of you, personally. It's like you got a minority of people in our community that's really holding on and trying to hold the community together, and the majority is effing it up with sabotage. Because like I said, these people couldn't sabotage us if we didn't participate. White supremacy is not forcing us to not work together. Let's call it what it is. If we want to work together, white supremacy couldn't stop that. They couldn't do it. If we wanted to purchase property with our money, white supremacy really couldn't stop that. They can try to undermine, but we all work every time we actually unify and work together, we actually get things done. Every time. White supremacy couldn't stop us from building communities. They couldn't really stop us from building schools for our children, grocery stores. They really couldn't do it if we all stuck together. But we don't want to do that. And I'm going to be real with you. Even if we get reparations tomorrow, that's not going to solve our problem in America. I'm going to be just real with you. You're going to have more money in your pocket, and you're going to have a little bit more vitriol against you, but what's new? But reparations won't even solve our problem. It'll solve some people's problems on the individual level, but as a collective, no. Oh, I want reparations, don't get me wrong, but I'm just being real about the status of what we're dealing with in this community. When we keep voting in people like Biden and the Democrats, throwing another crime bill at you, all of these crime bills that came up has been through the Democrats, the ones y'all support. I ain't heard no Congressional Black Caucus stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, hold on. What you coming up with a crime bill for? We got people suffering financially. We don't need to throw no money at no police. We need to get these people back to work. We need to get these people off the street in a home. It's ridiculous. America's supposed to be the richest country in the world and people homeless. That don't make sense. That's what I'm saying. America touts itself as a first world nation, but you got a lot of people living third world status. I remember I saw a video, I think out of Rwanda. This one brother went there and was showing the people in Rwanda, all these homeless people in America, and they said, what country that's in? And they said the United States. He'll say, what? And they were freaking out that all these homeless people was all over the place in the United States. They were floored. They said, I didn't know homeless people. They actually have homeless people in America. I mean, people in other countries think America don't even have homeless people. America has a lot of third world living. And black folks, we the target. Do you want to be in a position where you're third world? Black folks need to work together and get rid of all that ethnic crap. And if we don't get rid of all the ethnic beefing with each other, like I said, We're going to be a permanent underclass, and it's going to be part of our own fault because we assisted them in sabotaging us. Because other groups, when they come in here on a mission, all of them. And they don't have sympathy for our story. They don't have sympathy for our history and care less. All they're trying to do is get the bag and get over. But appreciate y'all listening to us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to click the subscribe button. That's very, very important. Click the like button, definitely, and share the program much as possible. We appreciate you, definitely taking the time with us, and we definitely see you on the next one.